Hey there, it's Trisha, and I wanted to go over Friday, September 11th. I'll get back into doing about 3 or 4 videos a week now that summer's over. I've got the time. So I'm just going to start with Friday and move forward from there. We use 2 setups, and you can check those out at www.easyeMinitrade.com. We use 3 charts with indicators for confirmation before we ever take a trade, and it is a very conservative way to trade the S&P Emini, and check it out. It might be for you. So first thing in the morning, you need to start out by looking at the economic calendar, and you can get that free either by going to nasdaq.com or briefing.com, just something that you can rely on as accurate information. Because you need to know what's coming out. And so Friday morning at 9:55 we had consumer sentiment, 10 o'clock we had something else, I can't remember, and 2 o'clock you had the Treasury budget. So you need to be aware of all these items, in my opinion, so you're not jumping in a trade right before the information is expected to hit, because it can move the market in most instances, and you just don't ever know which is the right side to be on. So Friday morning you had to be a little cautious if you were trading before 9:55. For me, I waited till after 9:55. But regardless, I'll show you a couple things here from Friday. We did have a trend line break right here, and that was at 11:19, 11:29, and this would have been one that you would have passed on, or at least that I would have passed on, because the moving average was right below us. And typically when it is right below us, it's going to give you a stall before it starts to move, or it could bounce. So typically we're going to wait till we get closed below that and then look for the setup. But it's totally up to you. If you entered, it would have been a half a point under this bar, which would have been entering under this bar. You wouldn't have gotten very much out of it. Let's see here. You would have got in at 1038.75, and the low here that you would have gotten to is 1037.50. So, likely you would have only gotten a point out of it, and the initial stop would have been pretty large. So that would have been something that I was not interested in. With that said, you had this trend line break here on the 1221 bar. Actually finished at 1229, 1230. And that was a valid trend line break. Close, we're below the moving averages. Our indicator's in line here. Our trend indicator was in line as well. So everything's in line to take that. However, with that said, we have a squeeze firing off while this bar here is forming. And that's valid. That was the trade to take at 1223, and it was perfect because you were under support area, you were under the close from Thursday, and you had your squeeze firing off, and the next support area was quite a distance away, so you had plenty of room. So on that trade you would have gotten your +1, +2, and then you would have trail stopped out for 2 and change. I don't think that you would have gotten the full 3 points unless you moved your final target to just above this pivot point on the floor trader pivots, and that would have been a nice way to manage that as well. So I want to point out that throughout the day you're going to get many squeezes firing off, and the reason why we use the indicators that we use off the longer tick chart, which is giving us a broader view of the market, is that it filters out all the squeezes that fire off that go nowhere. So that's how we're able to pick and choose which squeezes we're going to take and which squeeze we're not going to take. We've been working on actually testing a scalp setup that was shared with us by a friend in the chat room, actually a friend of his, and so we've been testing that for about 3 weeks, and I actually traded it live on Friday, and it's worked out really well. So as soon as we gather up a little bit more information on that, we'll actually start taking that as a quick 3-tick scalp entry as well. So anyway, I hope that helps, and you can go to www.easyeMinitrade.com and check out the setups.